All right, and welcome back to Alternative Discussion West, the podcast. This is your host, Ryan Banks. Welcome you aboard episode 18. I want to thank all you guys for tuning in on iTunes and YouTube, becoming subscribers and likers on Facebook. We appreciate all of that, and it's fun to watch all the numbers grow. Our guest today, you may know her from Diving Swallow Tattoo in Oakland or as a curator of the upcoming This Is Not Your Fest, Danielle Silva. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good.
Hey, welcome to the studio. Thanks for coming out.
So happy to be here.
Yeah, it's been a while. We've kind of been talking about doing this the last couple of months.
Yeah.
And so it's exciting to get you out here. So you grew up out this way.
Mm-hmm. Yep, in Dublin all my life.
Born out there?
Mm-hmm. Born in Castro Valley, but yeah.
Okay, and then grew up in Dublin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what was life like out there?
Boring.
Yeah, just suburban life, super hot.
Mm-hmm. Just boring suburban life, which I think really pushed me to like just dive into my art and music even more. You know, maybe get into a little bit of trouble, but at the same time, just find creative outlets that just were more entertaining for me and just grasped my attention.
Totally, that's definitely what happens in that kind of urban area and that kind of an outlet. So you went to junior high, high school, elementary school, all inside of Dublin.
Yeah. Yep.
And what was life like? Did you brothers and sisters?
I have a little sister. Yeah, okay. Younger sister.
A lot younger?
No, she's about 2.5 years younger.
Okay,
yeah.
So you kind of grew up together with her.
Mm-hmm.
And then in high school, or what's your early memories of kind of getting into music or even kind of finding art as it's going to be something that follows you?
Well, I mean, I'd been doing art ever since I could pick up a pencil, and, you know, I'd go through elementary school trying to challenge everybody to drawing contests, which didn't last very long.
You're the champion.
It's kind of a jerk, yeah. But then I like very clearly remember it was the summer before 8th grade. I was like 12 or 13 years old. And one of my favorite pastimes was just watching TRL, not really knowing what I was really into at the time, and I just
enjoying that early MTV stuff.
Yeah, kind of just anything that came about. And then I saw Blink-182 for the first time. I can't remember which video it was. It was one from Enema of the State, either All the Small Things
What's My Age Again.
What's My Age Again. I'm pretty sure it was All the Small Things, though. And they just looked and sounded so cool. Yeah, and that
was different. Like, had you experienced much punk rock before that, or
no, not really?
That was really a standout.
Yeah, it was a standout. I had a crush on probably every single one of them. And yeah, I just wanted to look like that. I wanted, mostly like in the very beginning, it was just like I want to look that cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that jumped out at you. You were doing art, and at that time, you probably were attracted to not only the music but the tattoos that you're seeing, and probably a lot of the punk image that's coming out.
When I saw that, that stood out to me because I didn't see a lot of that, where I was growing up, or I wasn't exposed to a whole lot of that. Even though it was the Bay Area back then, like it just wasn't a thing, It
was a little a little ways outside the city.
Yes. Yeah. I think there was only like one tattoo shop in the area, because I remember begging my mom to let me get a piercing. She finally caved and took me to Livermore Tattoo.
And this is how old?
13 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 13. I was definitely 13 at that point. And it was the only shop, besides if you wanted to go to any other shop, you had to go to Zebra in Berkeley. So it was the closest one that I could get to. And yeah.
She allowed you to go down there?
Well, she had to come with me. My mom has always been supportive. She's always been, she's never told me that I couldn't do what I wanted to do with my life. She's probably one of the only adults that did that. But, she took me into the tattoo shop thinking I was going to back out.
Of this piercing.
Yes, because I cry. To this day, I cry every time I get an injection. I freak out.
Not a needle person.
Oh, no. So, like she thought I was going to back out. I walked in there, got my eyebrow pierced, saw everybody doing art for a living. And there was even a female tattoo artist who came and talked to me. It's Natasha Erickson. Yeah.
And she came and spoke to you that day at 13 years old.
Yes.
Wow.
And, usually at that point, a lot of tattoo artists, after that, I would try to talk to all the tattoo artists, and none of them wanted to talk to a little kid. So, she really stood out to me. And, she made appearances, just surprise appearances throughout my career, and we're still in contact.
Yeah, and that made a huge impression at that age, that
really
you could work in this kind of a field, make money from doing art, kind of be outside of the normal realm of what people might think of how you would earn a living.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it just struck me as like, that's how I would be happy. Like I would be doing what I wanted to do. And looking really cool while doing it, because I just thought those Blink-182 guys just looked so rad. Like, I was so into that.
That's so cool that they had an influence, you know, a great positive influence, I guess.
Oh, man, yeah. I think it was not too long after that. Me and my best friend at the time, Elise, we went into Hot Topic for the first time. And I swear, we bought our clothes and we changed in the McDonald's bathroom before we even left the mall.
Because that was you now.
Yes. Yes. I found myself. That was me, and it's never going to change. So
that's great. So that's just kind of getting into high school, and you're going through these big changes, or at least you're discovering, you know, a lot of the alternative cultures at that time. So what kind of music are you listening to other than Blink at that time? Where do you kind of start experiencing alternative music?
Oh, Blink-182, Green Day. I mean, in the beginning, it was anything that was popping up, you know, either on TRL or any CD that I could get my parents to buy me. And then once 8th grade started, I, you know, started dating the one boy in school who had a mohawk, and watching him skateboard and do BMX, and you know, hung out with their garage band,
watching the skate videos and stuff.
Yeah, and they had their own little garage band called the Pyro Boots. Like we would hang out in my friend Josh England's garage, and yeah, they would play. And
that's the Pyro Boots playing right in their parents' garage in Dublin.
Yes, and I would just hang out and watch, and yeah, that made me want to start playing bass. Like
Was that your first time seeing a band play, or had you know, your parents took you to a concert, or had you seen some early live music that inspired you?
I mean, I don't know if it inspired me, but I still enjoy it to this day, but my parents would always go see Eddie Money, actually.
Okay, yeah. He's got a huge history in the Bay Area.
Yeah, and he plays the saxophone, too. So, you know.
So something rubbed off.
Yeah, I remember seeing him at the Alameda County Fair, or like Tommy T's. I've probably seen him more than any other musician.
You probably could have caught him this year at the Alameda Fair.
Oh, that probably would have felt good. Yeah, that would have been nostalgic. Yeah.
He's still been doing the same thing. So some early concerts, but just kind of some cheesy rock or some classic rock stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. So you end up, you've got the band playing in the garage. You decide you want to learn the bass. Do you pick up the bass at that point? Or do you ask around? Or do you just kind of have this dream of, I got to pick up a guitar eventually?
I mean, I needed something. And I actually, now that I think about it, I picked up the guitar first. But I mean, nobody could see this, but I've got kind of like crooked fingers a little bit that actually make it really hard to hit. I can't do certain chords on the guitar. So I literally that's why I picked the bass. It's not that I thought, because of course, the bass is just as challenging as the guitar.
Sure.
For anybody to think that it's easier than the guitar, you know, they're totally wrong.
Hasn't picked them up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. And through that, just played in the summer of before high school. And then after that, joined the hardcore band Scared Alice.
Wow! Yeah. So right into high school, you end up joining a band.
Oh yeah.
And this is an extreme hardcore band. And you said it even though you guys were underage, it did have straight edge values.
Oh yeah. We were definitely I don't think we necessarily we didn't have straight edge painted on our drum a lot of the people did. But we definitely had those values. We were a little bit more laid back about it, but still, when I look back, I think maybe we weren't as laid back as I think. We were still kind of
strict without knowing it and really into it. So you guys ended up actually playing some shows. So you're in high school, you're in the hardcore band Scared Alice.
Yes.
And you guys are playing what kind of venues you're at?
Oh man, I mean, we played the Danville Grange. We played a couple churches.
A lot of rest in peace to a lot of these venues.
Yes, because I mean, honestly, I wasn't in the band for very long before a lot of our venues started to close. Like the Grange shut down. I know there was a church that we played at that I think our show might have had some influence in it shutting down. But yeah, the crowd got a little rough that night, and
a lot of moshing kids.
Yeah, and I don't think they really understood when they booked a hardcore show, because I remember being on that stage and being so nervous, and these lights blaring in my face, and I can't even see the person who's talking to me, and they're telling me that we are our own security. And we were like the smallest people back then too. Like,
and you're 15, 16 years
all
old.
Short. Like, yeah, we're small. Like there's these like big people like in the crowd, and we're like, I don't know what you think we're going to see or do, like, about any of this.
While we're playing?
Yeah. Like, oh, be nice to each other, everybody. Like, you know, I don't know. I don't think we could have any influence on that. But yeah.
That may have been the last show at that church.
I think so. Yeah. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure that was the last show, if I remember correctly. You know,
do you remember any of the bands you were playing with at that time? Was there standout bands or bands you're like, oh my God, or bands your friends were in?
Oh, you know, I ended up, some bands that my friends were in were, there was Cutlass back then, which I think ended up becoming Bishop of Saints, and they had a big following. What's really funny is they were a Christian hardcore band, but I found out seriously only a couple years ago that they had no lyrics. That they just screamed, like, and it sounded like, and like, I think they maybe throw Jesus in there every now and then or something. I don't know. Very talented people, but apparently had like
because there was
little to no
actually
lyrics.
A really big scene for Christian hardcore, right? I mean, there was. I mean, that was a shoe in. You know, there was a lot of bands that were making a lot of money even from that scene at that time.
Totally. I mean, like, yeah. So we kind of, you know, that's how we ended up playing in churches and stuff like that. I was definitely a Christian back then. Not so much anymore. Yeah. Let me think. There was All Bets Off. I was obsessed with them.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, God. I loved watching them play.
Yeah. Right, yeah. From All Bets
Off.
Off.
Yeah. God. And I just remember Sammy also just being a really down to earth person that like was totally cool with talking to a little nerd like me, you know,
hanging with the people that are there to see him. Yeah, I think I may have seen them at the Danville Grange. I know I've seen them with the AFI a few times.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, they played the Grange pretty frequently, and I was just there all the time. And then Consign, I still have a CD of theirs. I don't know if you've heard of them. Definitely another hardcore band. Yeah. We had played a show, I think I'd shown you on the flyer, this band Fourth Morning. And I actually...
Fourth Morning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
I didn't notice they were on the flyer. Yeah, friends of mine.
I think it's spelled wrong. But yeah. But I ended up, like, following... Like, I mean, they were cool with hanging out with me, which it meant a lot to me back then because I didn't feel like I had a lot of positive influence in my life, you know? And so to have people actually just pull me out and, like, bring me into the scene like they did and introduce me to these bands like Karate High School or like take me to shows. I remember like their bass player like picked me up and took me to like their like show in Hercules or something like that, you know? And like,
this wouldn't have been Johan, would it have been?
No, you know what? Actually, it was the bass player for Karate High School, but I still hang out with Johan.
Okay, yeah. That's I've seen Fourth Morning.
Yeah.
Wow,
no,
cool guy,
Johan,
Snake.
dude, he's still killing it out there.
Yeah.
He's in, God, what's the name of that band that he's in?
Diego's Umbrella.
Yes.
Looking to have him as a guest soon.
Good. Oh, God, that's going to be a good episode. He's such a great guy. Dude.
So you meet all these bands and they kind of take you under their wing or they at least show you there's nothing to be afraid of in this scene and it's all community and it's all friends.
Yeah.
And they start taking you to shows out and about.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm not even really sure if they realized how big of an influence they were at me and, you know, were on me at that point. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Being at the shows at that age when you're 14, 15 years old and somebody 18 or 19.
Yeah.
And a couple years older kind of shows you the ropes or how to get around and how to carry yourself there. And oh my God, you know, it means so much.
It really does.
And it's cool that there's so many people involved that, you know, kind of take care of each other.
Yeah. I mean, it really showed me that there is a community out there that, you know, I could escape to and be accepted. You know, like there were so many people in my life that like didn't accept me for what I was doing, you know, like wearing the Hot Topic stuff or, you know, like running around saying I wanted to be a tattooer since I was 13. Like some family members didn't, my dad was not cool with that.
You found the community in music early.
Yeah.
But you know, your career was always you wanted to do tattoo, you said. And inside of school and inside of your family, that wasn't really an option. Yeah,
for the most part. My mom supported me. There was never a point where she didn't support me.
She said go for it.
Yes. There was never a point where she told me that I couldn't do what I wanted to do, you know, within reason. But yeah, you know, I just remember my dad not being too happy about that. You're going to go to college. You know, it's like, no. I remember he told me, he said, I know you said you wanted to be a vet at one point. I'm like, who hasn't? You know, who hasn't said they wanted to be a veterinarian?
We all got compassion towards animals.
Yeah. So, but yeah, my mom always supported me. And, but that being said, there was a lot of other adults in my life that absolutely like didn't and actually tried to hold me back from doing art at a certain point, you know, so... Yeah, and just tried to get me on that college path, and it just steered me farther and farther away from it. And I think the people that did take me under their wing in the punk scene kind of showed me that I can stand up for what I want, and I can, make these dreams happen, if I just keep working towards it. And even if I can go through my whole day with people telling me all day that what I want to do is wrong or stupid, but I can, at the end of the day, come to the show and they're going to think it's rad.
Yeah. And encourage you for all that.
Yeah.
So then going through high school, you end up kind of skipping out of high school early.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So how old are you when you end up?
I was 15. It was the second semester of my sophomore year. And
you kind of take a proficiency exam to bail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the California proficiency exam. I couldn't take it anymore. Like, I had a teacher even notice, like my history teacher noticed that I was not doing well just because I was being forced to do these things that I didn't want to do. I was put in a college prep class. They wouldn't let me take any art classes. Like, I was in honors world history when I was getting bad grades in history. And I'm even telling them, how am I going to get accepted to college if I'm getting like bad grades? Like, your
whether
plan
it's an
makes
honors
no
class
sense.
or not.
Yeah, I'm like, your plan makes no sense, so I'm not going for that at all.
And they're kind of taking all of your interests away and not letting you get into those elective classes or those art classes or music classes.
Totally.
That might actually push you in the direction you plan to go.
Totally. Yeah. So
15, you're out of high school.
I started going to DVC. I got to, my parents forced me to take classes to become a veterinarian, which was fine. I love science. Like, I'm like, okay, that'll be fun. But I took art classes, and then like during my breaks, 'cause I didn't even drive back then. So
you're going to college classes. You're 16 years old.
Yeah, my mom's like dropping me off at college. Like, it was so weird being around all these older people. I would usually just, between classes, ditch out and go to the tattoo shop down the street, which Natasha Erickson happened to be working at.
So you reconnect.
It was a trip. Yeah, I walked in and I was like, oh my God, it's you. Like, so yeah, that was like the second time she popped into my life again. So
kind of a calling or a sign even,
Oh yeah. I mean, it gets even crazier. She's just popped in my life so many times, and she's definitely a huge inspiration to me. I think she's in Southern California now, but yeah. I'm sure there's going to be another time.
So DVC, you're taking your vet classes?
I mean, it was like...
Or just science?
Chemistry, biology, psychology was cool. So it was like, oh, that's fun. I took a swimming class just because it was like, well, what else am I going to do? All my friends are in school. I don't want to hang out with my parents all day.
Sure.
So...
And throughout that, you're just drawing constantly?
Drawing constantly, taking all the art classes that my heart could desire,
Are you taking influence from other tattoo artists? Are you going through magazines? Are you looking on the web? All that stuff?
Oh, the magazines like crazy. I remember I had to be like 14 or 15, I think, around that age, when I first saw a tattoo that Nick Baxter did in a magazine, and I've just since that day been obsessed with that guy.
Yeah, just caught you.
Yes, yeah, like I just wanted to be him or married to him, but but yeah, no, he was a huge. And I would seriously, look at these things that I liked in the magazine, and I would try to do my own versions or copy them or figure out, and I'd like draw these little drawings and then run down to the tattoo shop after like class and be like, look what I did. And they're just like, get out of here, kid. Like, you're 15, get out of here.
You're showing them, hey, I'm trying.
Yeah.
Look what I'm doing.
Yeah. Natasha was always nice to me, but the dudes that worked there were just like, you have to leave. You're a kid. Like,
you're trouble.
Yeah. You were a child. Get out of here.
So you end up, you're doing a lot of work with the tattoos. You're working on your own art. You're there in college. We're going to take our first break here.
Cool.
We're going to kind of come back and get into your apprenticeships.
Yes.
And where you go with that. And then also talk about, more what you're doing with music, and then eventually get into Tiny Fest.
Nice.
So we'll be right back a little bit more with Danielle.
the chaos in the wake of his trail. We'll pursue this bandito till we see his corpse rotting in a cell. Con victoria vendimos, sacrificios que hicimos, con la pala y martillo, promesas de paz y libertad. Llegará, el bandito volverá. Unidados con sangre, los malditos verán. Demostraron la fe y las ganas, mi gente se va a superar. Cuando lleguen a chinga, no nos van a encontrar. El dinero que robos robaron, balazos me van a llevar. When they corner the desperate, they will pay with their lives. These elusive banditos will falter tonight with the law on our side. We'll surround the cantina, we will shoot them on sight. No remorse for this damn vigilante, we'll take them dead or alive. Take aim from a rooftop, dynamite and a kill shot. They'll be forced to retreat with this Gatling. Was a firefight. Come sunrise, this bandito won't survive.
All right, and we are back with my guest, Danielle Silva. We were kind of talking about her first band, Scared Alice, playing venues like the Danville Grange Hall, and then talking about how you left high school, got involved over at DVC, kind of learning some veterinary programs,
Yeah.
kind of influenced by your parents, getting pushed that way, and then also starting to hang out in the local tattoo shops.
Yes.
So when do you first decide you're going to find an apprenticeship, you're going to finally get taken serious when it
man.
comes to tattooing?
I actually, like, at that point, like, school was becoming really expensive, and, you know, the classes I was taking, like, it was just getting to be too much. So I was actually working at a computer gaming center, a LAN center. I don't know if anybody knows what a LAN center is anymore. But
This is like where you would go to and pay an hourly rate
Yes.
to play
Yes.
StarCraft or something like that.
StarCraft, Counter-Strike. I'd put on little Counter-Strike competitions and stuff. And all of a sudden, around that time, a tattoo shop opened up literally just down the street from my parents' house. And there
So
were,
a new shop comes to town.
Yes. I think it started off, the name started off as Hardtails. It was a skate shop / tattoo shop. And then it turned into In Your Skin. It was just a tattoo shop. In the very front, there was like this little like Harley trinket shop, which was really weird. But yeah, like went in there. It was 17. I brought in my little sketchbook. And
how many artists were working out of that shop? Very small?
very small. At that point, it was just one.
Just the
And-
owner.
Yes, just the owner. Yeah, I brought him my sketchbook, and his name was Anthony Sanchez. He's still working I think he's working at Fiora in Castro Valley now. Really cool dude. But I brought him my sketchbook, and he looked through it, and he believed in me. And yeah, like hired me
So
on
he
as an
liked the art
apprentice.
you brought in, and this is at In Your Skin Tattoo. And this is what year?
Oh God, that happened.
2003?
It was, I think it had to be like 2004, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 2004. So almost 14 years ago.
So he invites you to come on in.
Yeah.
And start sitting with him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
With his guests, with his appointments.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I dropped out of school.
Just like that.
Yeah, dropped out of school.
Got a big opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even, my dad was angry. My mom was just like, okay. Like, and I was just like, I'm just doing this. Like, I'm done with you guys, everybody telling me not to do it. Like, cause here, somebody believes in me, I'm taking this. And so,
yeah, it's been a couple years. I still have this interest in this. I have to do this. And now I finally have somebody going, yeah, come on down.
Yes.
Let's check it out.
Yes.
So what's your experience there in your skin?
Oh, wow. It was interesting. It was like my first time, you know, learning the ins and outs of like what it takes, you know, cleaning equipment and, you know, dealing with clients. He had me like deal with clients on
doing appointments.
Yeah. Taking appointments. You know, he would have me drawing stuff, cleaning stuff up. You know, he's very like, he gave me my first tattoo machine that I still have. Like, it's got 2005 like etched into it. And like, yeah, it was a Paco Rollins liner and I still have it. But yeah, it just got me the first step in the door. I didn't end up learning I didn't end up becoming a tattoo artist there.
Okay, you didn't actually take clients there.
No, the shop ended up closing down for various reasons. And then after that, I went out to Davis, and I mean, there were so many other shops that I like. There's just like one other shop I worked at. It was out in Davis, but I learned how to pierce there. It wasn't really too big of a time in my life. I think one of the most significant parts of that part of my life was I went to Fakir Musafar's body piercing intensive in San Francisco, and he actually just recently passed away, and he was a massive influence for me, just in the way that he just grew up in this time. I forget where he grew up, but he grew up in a place where he was not allowed to be himself. You know, he was like piercing his body like secretly. You know, he had all these different ways about him that weren't accepted, like where he was or in the time. And, you know, he came over to San Francisco and started opening up like some of the first body piercing shops ever. So just to see him push for what he wanted, like in a time where not just his family and like maybe teachers were against it, but like the whole world was against it.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to anyone.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to anybody. It was really inspiring. And after that, I actually, funny enough, it came full circle, and I ended up doing the apprenticeship that made it at Livermore Tattoo, where I first walked in and decided to be a tattoo artist.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And a week after that, it was like a week or a month or something after I started there, just randomly, without even knowing it, Natasha Erickson does a guest spot.
So you run right back into her.
Yes.
Over the last 3 or 4 years, you've had these bump-ins.
Yes.
And they're going to let you finish out your apprenticeship there.
Yes.
And so how long do you actually spend there before you start taking in?
Oh, man. I was there about, so it was a little less than a year. They started to let me tattoo my friends. And then it was April of 2009, I believe, that my boss, Rob Judd, who owned the shop. I was under the instruction of Rob Judd, Tosh Kerwell, and Gabe Lane.
All at Livermore Tattoo?
Yes. Tosh Kerwell is still a tattoo artist. I forget what shop he's at right now, but I know Gabe Lane owns a shop in Dublin called Tattoo Lab. And yeah, it was April. I came into work, and Rob was like, yeah, you're a tattoo artist now. And it knocked me off my feet at that point. It was just so crazy to finally hear that in my life. I was 21, I think.
And that's about 5 years of kind of going in and out of different shops and messing around everywhere, like you said, from here to Davis.
Oh, God. I had 3 jobs at one point. One of the last jobs I had was Wells Fargo. I trained to become an EMT because there was one point where I thought, man, I might actually need a backup plan. So
we hate trying to think of backup plans, right?
No, because everybody was like, oh, you need to think of something else because tattooing might not work out. And it was that whole mentality of them telling I couldn't do it, where I was like, no, I'm going to do this. I don't even need a backup plan. And then I was working at Wells Fargo, just hating my life. Like, oh no, I think I need a backup plan.
They were right.
I cannot live and die here.
So once you get out of your apprenticeship, you end up working at Livermore Tattoo for a while?
Yeah, I worked there for a little bit longer. Oh, God, went to after that, I went and worked at one of the worst shops I've ever worked at. It was a really dark time. Danville Inc. Like, I'm just going to skip right over that one. But then I worked at Inkistry, which was a huge influence to me. They're still around. They're in Livermore.
It's a lot of Tri-Valley shops.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. It was crazy to see, when we were talking about earlier, the change in the tattoo industry. When I was 17 years old, Miami Ink came out, and it changed everything. Like,
it really brought the popularity into the world.
Yeah, shops were suddenly just slammed busy. Like, people were accepting it. And, there was that thought in my head. One of the first thoughts I had was like, look at me now, Mrs. Ramirez. Like one teacher that was so vehemently against me being a tattoo artist. So, yeah.
And not only have you landed the career now, it was starting to gain that kind of popularity and really being in the mainstream. And you obviously you noticed a big bump in business.
Oh, yeah.
All the shops did.
All different kinds of people coming in, like soccer moms, like all kinds of people that just I never imagined getting tattooed. And it was so cool because, like, I think maybe they had this passion to, like, have something on their body like that, but never thought it was okay. And then so seeing it to be okay, and then, just the experience of, like, working with these people and putting this art on their body, whether it be something that I liked doing or not, like, like the kids' names or footprints or whatever. It's like, to me, it was just like, oh man, but like I knew in my head
it meant something to them.
Yes, every infinity symbol, every star, like it means just as much as every custom back piece or whatever that everybody gets. So.
Yeah, to them, that is their art that they want on them.
And it needs to mean that much to me, too. Like, I've always had that mentality in my career.
Now, with the popularity growing in 2005, do you feel it's still growing today?
Yes.
You think it's still picking up? It's still as hot as ever?
Yes.
The industry is big.
I mean, there's just more and more tattoo artists coming out, putting out just, like, it's just, it never ceases to amaze me what people think to put out there. Like, we've got fine artists getting into, this career. It's just a whole nother level of things that you can do. The equipment, just, it went from, like, it was really hard to change tattoo equipment because it needed to be proven to these people, throughout their lives. But now you see all these advancements in the equipment and the ink and, like, the way we go about things. And
I think with all technology, people have become a lot more trustworthy with it.
Yes.
Like it used to be, hey, that's got to be tried and true before I ever see it. Now it's like, God, technology's done a lot of great things, and maybe we should jump on this before everyone else beats us to it.
Yes, and I'm just, making tattoos on the iPad now. It's just ridiculous to see where it's come.
Technology has taken it a long way. So other than that, doing tattoos here in California, you've also done guest spots all over.
Yeah, that actually started after I started working in Oakland, and that actually had a big influence with music too. I just remembered the first guest spot that I did was in Houston, Texas, and it was while I was at Inkistry. My friend Brett Baumgart, incredible tattoo artist. Like, definitely got to look him up on Instagram. Like, he does this amazing level of realism. He's one of the people that helped teach me to tattoo. He had apprenticed at Livermore Tattoo right before me, but he moved out to Houston to be with, at the time, his fiance, now ex-fiance. But anyway, I went out there to work the tattoo convention out there with him in Houston. So that was my first guest spot ever, and it was so much fun.
So he invited you out to Houston, and that was your first time leaving town.
Yes.
You're working. You're making a couple bucks.
Yep. And you know what? Eventually, as you could hear with the ex-fiance thing, he ended up moving back to the Bay Area. And I actually, one-way ticket out there, we had a road trip back. And shortly after that, because he was going to get a job at Premium Tattoo, who one of his old mentors owns. I wanted to work with my best friend. He's back in town. So I would bug Matt all the time. And Matt's like, I don't know who you are. I can't just hire you. And so I'm like, that's cool. I remember being on the phone out in front of Inkistry being like, that's cool. I understand. And then I walked into Inkistry, put in a notice. Like, I quit pretty much.
Yeah.
They had already known I was leaving. Yeah. And I was like, this is my last day. Like, tattooed the apprentice because he worked his ass off for us. And then packed up all my tattoo stuff. Flew out to New York for New Year's with Brett to celebrate, blew all my money, came back with no job. Yeah.
And no home at the moment. Nowhere to go as far as tattooing.
I mean, I was, the bad part was I had an apartment in San Ramon with one of my other best friends. And so I have no job. I blew all my money in New York. I mean, this is such an early, like, I couldn't do this now. It was such an early 20s thing, you know. But I would just hang out every day at Premium until Matt hired me.
And then he finally gave you a job there.
Yes. And then that eventually led me to moving to Oakland, and, you know, meeting up with people from the music industry, you know, or like the music scene in Oakland, eventually dating somebody in the music scene. And
about what year did you move into Oakland?
That was 2013. Yeah.
Okay.
Shortly after, I started dating somebody within the pop punk scene who would tour all the time. And so he definitely influenced me to go guest spot in other places. Like, he would go on tour, and I'd either, like, meet up with him. You know, it only happened a couple of times.
And where else did you run around as far as guest spotting?
Seattle. There was the Artful Dodger up in Seattle. Awesome shop. It was a comic book store, free arcade, and tattoo shop. So I almost moved there.
Yeah, you liked it.
I loved it.
I was just friends invited you up there, or you found the shop?
Me and my boyfriend at the time were actually thinking about moving up there. So, you know, obviously we didn't end up doing that. I still am in contact with all those people, and I do plan on going and seeing them again. I miss them so much. I'm really happy I stayed in the Bay Area, though. This is my home. And so, yeah, I also did a guest spot at Ritual Tattoo in Denver. A beautiful tattoo shop. They're amazing artists there. And it was a really fun experience. And that one, my boyfriend was on a tour. Like, it was like a 7-week tour. And so I was meeting up with him, like, towards the end of the tour, like maybe a little more than a week before the tour's end, maybe 10 days. And so we hung out in Denver. And then right after that, went to Salt Lake City and saw some of my closest friends. I've got a bunch of friends out there in a bunch of different bands. So
I got to do a little bit of traveling, ran into a lot of folks.
Oh, so good, yeah. And then eventually I did a guest spot out in South Africa.
Very cool.
Yeah. It's at a shop that I'm going to be coming back to. My brain is not, it's going to be so bad that I forgot the name of that shop. I'm just going to.
But you plan to be back there this year?
Yes, and I, like, talk to them all the time. Oh, East Coast Customs. Yeah, it was total brain fart right there. But yeah, East Coast Customs, they're amazing. They tried to get me to move out there, but I kind of met them in the middle, and, like, I'm just going to go out there probably every December from here on out. So
probably sounded intriguing, though, huh?
Yes. Oh my God, and it's so beautiful out there. Like, and I had such a good time, and everybody's so great. Like, so yeah, definitely. And also, that was, like, right after Trump was elected, so it definitely sounded very intriguing.
maybe this is my way out. Huh?
Yeah. Somebody mail my cat over here. I'm never leaving. I was staying, like, at their house on the beach, like, see dolphins in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, in these squid
isn't
boats
so
at
bad.
night.
Huh?
Oh God, it was amazing. There's, like, wild giraffes. Like, I remember being at this, like, one house and, like, being on the back deck, and I just see a wild giraffe walking by, and I'm like, this is a trip.
Yeah,
like,
a little bit different than living in the city out here.
Oh,
huh?
my God. Completely different. It's a whole nother world. You know, it did put a lot of things in perspective because, like, Port Elizabeth is, like, that's where the shop is. And when you fly in there, the first thing that you see from the plane is the shipping container city. Like, and which are kind of sporadically throughout the town. There's such a wide, it's pretty bad. You know, the economy out there is terrible. You know, there's no middle class, basically.
Just a huge gap.
Huge gap. You're either living in a shipping container or you're in this massive house that's
on the beach.
Yeah, on the beach with, like, an electric fence. You know, like, so the economy is pretty terrible out there.
Yeah.
Another reason why, like, it at first looked good to move out to because I could afford a big mansion on the beach to myself. But then I'd probably have a really hard time ever getting back to America because I could never make the amount of money to get back, you know.
So I decided just to make it a December thing.
Yeah.
Go there once a year.
Yeah, and their shop is gorgeous. Like, and it's in a mall. Like, it's a gorgeous shop, and it's in a shopping mall, so it brought me back to my Hot Topic days.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Felt like you were back in high school.
Hanging
out the mall rats.
Mm-hmm. Hot Topic was my first job, so I was like, man, it feels like working in the mall again. It was fun.
Well, that sounds like a ton of fun. Also, back in Oakland, you did some work there at Cat Town, right?
Yes, Cat Town Cafe. Oh my gosh. That place.
You organized fundraisers for them, or?
Yeah, we did a tattoo benefit at Premium Tattoo at one point. They let me have my first solo art show there. I emailed you one of the pieces that I had in my art show.
Cool. We'll be posting that up for everyone to see then.
Yeah, it was a cat, a tuxedo cat with a tie on Bart. So yeah, they ended up buying that piece actually, which was super cool. But yeah, I still love Cattown. Unfortunately, don't have very much time to be there anymore. I wasn't spending enough time with my own cat, which didn't seem fair. So, but I still love them.
Taking care of all the orphan kitties.
Yeah, they need to be taken care of. So if you're interested, definitely go check out Cattown on 29th and Broadway in Oakland. It's amazing.
There's plenty of kitties looking for homes there.
Oh, yes. You get coffee and snacks and pet the kitties. You don't necessarily have to adopt them, but good luck not adopting them.
Yeah, you might be tempted.
Yes.
Awesome. So we'll take our second break here. Kind of after going through all of your guest spots and all your traveling with tattoo. We're going to come back, talk more about Oakland, what's been going on out here the last few years, kind of get into the shop you're working at now, talk a little bit about the Ghost Ship Fire. That kind of brings us full circle into Tiny Fest coming soon. So we're going to come right back, talk a little bit more with Danielle. right, and I am back with my guest, Danielle Silva. We were just kind of talking about her traveling abroad, doing some tattooing in South Africa, and also doing some guest spots, Seattle, Denver, Houston, kind of getting your feet wet and really enjoying, doing tattoos all over. Now, we want to get back into you moving into Oakland and kind of get into the music that you did out here. Mm-hmm. So there's the band Former Babies.
Yes.
And tell me about them.
Oh, Former Babies are like some of my closest friends from as far back as middle school. And it was just a really fun project. You know, I hadn't played bass in many years at that point. And so the thought of playing bass again, was really intimidating. But when in the context of being with them, it made it just fun. And I had a really good time. And yeah, they're actually making like a comeback like recently. So they're actually going to be playing shows now.
They're putting it back together.
Yeah, I think you could find old stuff on SoundCloud. They don't have any new things like recorded. You know, they got a new bass player. They've got a different lineup. If I remember correctly, I think they've got somebody else on drums too. I think it might be my friend Josh England.
Now, when you were playing with Former Babies, did you guys play shows?
Yes, we did. We played the Stork Club.
Some of the old
twice.
Oakland haunts.
Yes. We played the Stork Club twice. We would play our friends' parties. You know, it was more of a chill band. I think in the time that like we got more serious at that point, when we were starting to book shows and stuff like that, people's lives kind of took a turn, like more, I don't want to say more adult turn, but like, you know,
career oriented.
Yeah,
maybe.
career oriented. Thank you. Yes, career oriented. Didn't have time, you know, anymore. Understandably, you know, and to see them come back though, like, as those people were passionate about music and having fun, I'm really excited.
Yeah, to see that come. So hopefully keep an eye out for them. Former Babies could be coming back. So now you've also joined another band.
Yes.
Not playing the guitar anymore.
Nope.
No bass.
Nope.
Tell us about Oinga Boinga.
Oh, Oinga Boinga. I've loved seeing, like, I would go and see Oinga Boinga mostly around Halloween. That's their big season. It's an Oinga Boinga cover band. They have a whole theatrical act with it too, with different characters and stuff pulled from the movie Forbidden Zone. And yeah, they're just like, I'm playing sax, I'm playing flute. It's
entertainment, it's show, it's art, it's music.
Yeah, it's like I said, it is so hard to describe it. And, you know, a letter to a friend, I'm already on page 5 and I haven't even touched on everything about the band. But yeah, it was scary because I've never played saxophone in a band before or any wind instrument in a band. And they've never had any horn section in their particular band.
So you're bringing the flute and the sax.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of covering some guitar parts and stuff like that. And, you know,
finding a way to bring it into the band.
Mm-hmm. And it's just like they make it like this level of comfort that they bring to me. Like, just not even comfort, but just immediate camaraderie. Like, makes it so relaxing to actually experiment with my new instrument, which I think is really, really important, you know, being in, you know, this is my first band playing, you know, saxophone. So
yeah, being comfortable and being able to explore. And how long have they been doing it?
God, they've been together for 5 years, you know, a couple, like, little lineup change here and there, but yeah, like, they've been together for 5 years.
Did they reach out to you or did you contact them?
Oh, I saw them live, and the first time I saw them live, I was like, I need to be your guys' friend. I need to know everything you guys are doing. I don't even think I played the saxophone yet. But in that time, I picked up the saxophone, and I just remember, I just started playing sax, you know? And so, yeah, this is the first year that I get to play with them, and I'm so excited. I've been wanting to do this for so long. They're so great. I love them so much.
To be able to join. So you guys got quite a few shows coming up, already lined up. You guys will be at Tiny Fest.
Yep.
That's September 28th at the Elbow Room.
Yep. That's going to be a fun show.
October 12th. Tell me about that. That's a Black Heart.
Black Heart. So I just actually recently received this list. Yeah. Let me see if I could find where I have it.
But you were saying that night you're going to be playing as an all-male tribute.
That's the one. Yes. So we're going to be Boingo, which is the universe's only all-male Oinga Boinga cover band.
And that's going to be coming. Where's that going to be at?
That is going to be at the Uptown on October 12th. And, you know, I think if you actually look up Oinga Boinga on YouTube, you can actually see videos of them playing as Boingo. And it's fun.
If you see that, you will not want to miss what's coming to the Uptown on the 12th. And then you guys got a couple of shows around Halloween time that look like the 26th costume party at the Elbow Room.
The Elbow Room
then
again.
October 27th out in Santa Rosa.
Yeah.
For the All Hallows Bash. Where's that show at?
That, it's a part of the North Bay Cabaret. I'm not exactly sure where that show is. Again, we just now finalized a lot of this stuff, like very recently. So
you can find Oinga Boinga on Facebook.
We're actually really heavily on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook, but we're really heavily on Instagram right now, and it's at the Oinga Boinga.
Cool. So find it there, and then you'll be able to follow
Yes.
follow you on these shows coming up.
Yeah.
So we
oh
talked.
my gosh. Yeah. There's I'm just so. I wish I could tell you guys more. Like tell you more about this theatrical act we have coming up. Like I can't even. I just feel like I can't even give a piece of it out without like.
And it's gonna be fun though.
Yeah. Yeah. You just have to see it. Yeah. It's quite a performance.
So don't miss one of those shows. You got 4 chances.
Yeah.
And we're talking the first show is going to be part of Tiny Fest.
Yes.
Which is in its inaugural year, first year.
Yes.
Coming out. Tell us about it. This is not your fest.
Yes.
Tell us kind of about the mission statement on this and how this fest came to be.
Yeah. So, we actually have a full mission statement that's very, very important to us on our Instagram, which is at TinyFest18. So we've got our full mission statement on there. I couldn't go completely into it, but basically definitely check that out. Like this festival, it honestly started with me calling out a local promoter of a local festival for sexual assault. And, going through this and talking to other bands and stuff, it's not a situation that's just within the pop punk scene. It is, it is a rampant in most scenes, and I'm like wanting to focus on Oakland and just create a change in the scene because like I had mentioned in the beginning of this podcast, like to me the punk scene was somewhere where I can go to like feel accepted, safe and just feel like I could be me and hang out there and not feel like anybody's gonna be coming after me like that. So basically like the thing that I've kind of just been telling everybody is like my intention is like, we're gonna throw a festival, and we're gonna make people so afraid to sexually assault somebody because we'll throw a festival against, against it. We just want to stand up for people. We want to make a change. I'm not out here to, like go head hunting for people or, I just really want to make a change in the scene and create some camaraderie and even create a narrative about, how we're supposed to handle these situations. I think I plan on doing something afterwards that will bring that narrative to the community, like bring people together. So
awesome. And it's a benefit.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
What does the benefit go for Tiny Fest?
It goes to the Bay Area Women Against Rape, who, they advocate for all people, a very inclusive organization that I've been working really close with. Very supportive. They support rape victims and different, rape and sexual assault victims in different areas, whether it be, legally, emotionally. They've got, we're working on having counselors there actually at the festival to talk to anybody or set anything up with anybody who's interested. So, it's going to be very focused on creating a change in the community. That's my big focus there.
A positive change in the community.
A positive change in the community. I think, big part of it though, if I'm going to throw a festival based on accountability, I need to be accountable and say, where it came from, and it did start with me calling somebody out, within the scene. So, but it's, we want to make a change in our community. We've got a lot of great bands on here. That I'm super
we're excited to see this fest come to be.
Yes.
You've got a 4-day fest. It's planned for September. Mm-hmm. You can get tickets already.
Yes.
And you just had your guys, kind of your kickoff party a few weeks back. And how was that? It was a drag show?
Oh, it was so much fun. Yeah, it was a drag show at Hella Vegan Eats. I found out maybe like a day or two before the thing that I had to MC it.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're on the mics, huh?
Oh, God, I was so scared. But then I kind of realized, well, if I'm going to be performing an Oinga Boinga as the devil, like, I better be like,
no time for stage fright anymore.
No time for stage fright with that. Not if I'm Queen Myrtle's spiritual advisor. So,
and that was a success?
Yes, it was. We had such a blast.
You had bands there?
No, we couldn't have bands there just because at that point with the way that Hello Vegan Eats was, we couldn't really have bands, but we kind of wanted to focus more on the drag queens anyway and have kind of a variety show with that.
And make it fun. Cool. Mm-hmm. So you'll also have a drag show kicking off the festival.
Yes.
That's on the 27th of September at the Ivy Room.
Yes.
The 28th, you guys will be at the Elbow Room.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be an additional show to be announced soon that same night.
Yeah, and we're going to have that one be 18 plus. So
okay, a little 18 and up party.
Gosh, it's so hard to find an all ages venue. It's so sad.
Yeah, there's fewer and fewer.
There really is.
And the 29th, you've got Eli's. The 30th, you do have all ages at Gilman.
Gilman, yes.
What bands are you excited about?
Oh my God, I'm so excited for all of them. The love songs are going to be there.
You've got Nopes on it.
Nopes. Horrible, adorable.
United Defiance.
United Defiance. Super excited for that.
Year of the Fist.
Year of the Fist, Nar Boots. We got Pity Party on there. Yarrow, under 15 seconds. I always love watching them. We've got, just so many, like Y-Axis, another band that I really like. Awake But Still in Bed. I mean, I can go on and on.
So we've got 20 plus bands?
Yeah, it's like actually pretty close to, I think it's 30.
30 bands, 4 days.
Maybe I should have counted that before I got here.
Hey, we're coming up. We're 6-7 weeks out. When do we expect to see the lineup?
We are getting that lineup finalized. We had a little bit of a hiccup, like when it came to getting that lineup completely together, and I see the light at the end of the tunnel with that. So that should be posted. We should have individual Facebook events very, very soon.
Cool. So everyone keep an eye out. Facebook. Yes. Also check out the Instagram. You said it was
Tiny Fest 18.
Cool. So you can check out all that. It's coming soon. Mm-hmm. How much are tickets to that?
If you were going to come for just one show for one day, like they're all $10 at the door. You can get a 2-day pass for $15, and that was to make it convenient for the people who aren't 21. I was hoping to have 2 all ages venues, but like I said, that's pretty tough. And then just to make sure, I believe the 4-day pass is just $30, but those are advanced prices, so the prices will change. Yeah,
get on there now.
They're right around the corner from changing, actually. So yeah, get on there now.
And of course, all that money's going to a great cause, and I think you guys got a great cause that you're spreading awareness inside that fest.
You.
Excited to see how that goes.
Yes,
I know that it always takes a lot of work. You got how many organizers behind that fest?
We've got 3 dedicated ones. We got another organizer who has put in a lot to it, but also has so many other commitments. We've had a lot of people contribute. I never wanted to put pressure on people to think that they needed to do anything for us.
Keep it fun, right?
Yeah, and it was so funny, that, some of the people that were helping me out, would be so afraid to tell me, oh my God, I think I'm too busy. And it's oh, please, no, tell me. Don't stress yourself out. Let's have a good time. Let's make money for the Bay Area Women Against Rape and have a fun time doing it. Create a positive change.
Yeah, I'd like to see that, everyone come together, have a good time, really show everyone what we can do out here.
Yeah.
It needs to happen in every city.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's good that you're starting it here in Oakland, but everybody needs to, spread awareness and just really spread the camaraderie of a real, a safe scene.
Yeah,
and
I love that you mentioned that. I forgot to actually tell you, one of my plans, one of my dreams for after this festival is for each of the organizers to write a little thing about how it went down, and also write how you can do it in your city.
There you go. Give everyone kind of a plan of action.
Yes, because there were so many touring bands that wanted to get on this, and in my mind, I was saying, we're trying to donate this money. We can't really accommodate you, but do it in your city. Do it. People.
Everyone. Let's see a bunch of festivals pop up.
Yeah,
a lot of good times, a lot of big weekends for everybody.
There's a lot of organizations that could really use that money.
I think anytime there's a show and all the money is going to charity, I really like that, and I support it,
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I always say support the touring bands. Go up to them, buy their merch, throw them a couple bucks, and make sure that they can get to and from to the next city. Totally. So also tied in with the This Is Not Your Fest, you've got Abo Comics.
Yeah. Oh, ABO Comics. But
ABO Comics.
Yeah.
They're going to be setting up a booth. And they just released their first issue. You can catch that on abocomics.com. You said that was $7 or $8.
Yeah.
So go and check them out. And what do they got going on?
So that comic, it's a Queer Prisoners anthology. It was all illustrated by queer and trans prisoners. And all the proceeds go back to the prisoners, and things that they need, and prison abolition groups. So it definitely works in support. Aside from the comic, there's a lot of behind the scenes work that goes into it. Where I'm just now getting into it, and I'm trying to get Casper is the one who put this on, my friend Casper. And he's got so many people that he writes to. He's dedicated his life to, a lot of his life to this. And so I'm in there being oh, let me get in there. So I'm slowly getting in there. I'm working on booking a benefit show for that. There's a prison strike coming up. There's a lot of information on that. I couldn't even touch on that, but you can look it up online.
Website.
Yeah.
A lot of cool information. Any other sponsors or vendors that are going to be around at the Tiny Fest?
Bay Area Women Against Rape will be there, at all the venues. I'm hoping to get artists, to sell their stuff as well, and also, of course, bands are definitely, they can sell their merch and it goes right to them, you know what I mean? So as well as like ABO comics and stuff, it'll go to their organizations. We got a pretty good setup for our own thing. We're going to have raffles and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll have various organizations that go along with this. We're still getting that in line. And yeah, we've got a lot of cool people that are, it's just really overwhelming to see the amount of people that are wanting to support this. Because maybe last year it was just a little bit more rough.
And you said you had quite an abundance of bands reaching out.
Oh,
more
God.
than you could accommodate.
More than we can accommodate. And like that's one of the motivations too, to have like some sort of after party, like where the community comes together,
So outside of Oinga Boinga, Tiny Fest, we can catch you at Diving Swallow Tattoo.
Yes.
Now. That's here in Oakland. Mm-hmm. And how long have you been there?
Oh God, I've been there like a little over a year now, and it is just hands down the best tattoo shop that I've ever been a part of.
How many artists you got working there?
God, it's always varying, but it's like there's got to be at least 10 of them.
Yeah.
There's so many. You can see all of them at divingswallow.com. Everybody's so talented. It's an all-female, genderqueer tattoo shop, and we just support each other like day in and day out. We have a good time doing it. Like, I've got a group text going on with everybody at work, and it's just everybody sending each other cat pictures and just telling each other how cool they are.
Yeah, just having a good time with everyone.
Good. Yeah, it feels so good.
It's a great little shop, there in Oakland.
It really influenced me to be doing the things that I'm doing this year.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And where can people check out your work?
They can see my work mostly on my Instagram at doomsdaydani. So that's Danny with the D-A-N-I. So doomsdaydani. Yeah.
So find you on Instagram, check out a lot of your work there, see some fun pictures, some cats.
A bunch of causes that I'm working for now, all the things that,
Yeah, inside of you've got, so you're there at Diving Swallow, you're doing Tiny Fest, you've got the bands rolling. Now what other, I know you've even got more pots on the stove.
Man.
What else are you working on?
So, something that I've, it's pretty heavy, but in the beginning of December, I gained a roommate who, she actually lived in the ghost ship warehouse when it burned down. And in interacting with her and becoming really close friends with her, I got, a lot of the inside story about what had actually happened, and the way that the media is spinning it kind of in a dark way to pin it on somebody who was just a tenant. There was two people, but the person that I'm talking about right now is Max Harris. And he was a tenant. He was just like any one of us. He had the same role in his house as I do in mine. And, just hearing her story and hearing his side of the story, hearing, his part of the story from other people. I hadn't met him until recently. Before all this, I didn't even know who he was. But, I'm working on something to urge people to really look into the actual story.
Maybe take a deeper look than what has just been presented.
Yes, because
when local media and local news.
Totally, because when I bring him up to people, some people don't even know who he is. Some people will say, "Oh, is he the building owner?" And he's not even close to being the building owner. He was somebody who was struggling with the building owners. He was just living, just like what me and all my roommates do, like in Oakland, communally. And I think a lot of people don't understand what that means, and it was really easy for the media to twist him into something that he is not. And, there's a lot that comes close to my heart for this, because I think one of the huge things, besides me relating to him a lot, is if I could really think about it, the people that were lost in that fire, this is not what they would have wanted, and there's a lot that's motivated me to push this story, and meeting all these people that lived in this warehouse, these beautiful artistic people that were part of a collective of artists in Oakland, which is like the spirit of Oakland that we need to fight for. We need to fight for each other. Everything
getting fewer and far between.
Yes. And we need to make our voices loud for each other, especially when they try to silence us. He's 28 years old. They're putting him behind bars for he lost everything, and he was just a tenant, and there's so much I could go on for so long about this too. We could go on for like a whole nother hour at least, so
well, let's urge the listeners to do a little more research, just check into, and do that with all media, as people are seeing things, dig a little deeper, scratch a little deeper than the surface.
And especially with Max, please, if anybody wants more information, I definitely urge you can email me. or contact me on Instagram, but you can email me at doomsdaydani@gmail.com. And again, that's Danny with D-A-N-I, all
Cool.
one
So
word.
yeah, reach out.
Yes, please.
If you've got questions, if you want to dig a little deeper
and please do.
into some of these topics, any of these subjects, or if you just want to reach out, say hello.
Yes.
Like you said, the Instagram's the same thing, Doomsday Danny. You can catch you at Diving Swallow Tattoo.
Yes.
Now, if they want to get work done, do they need to email you first, or can they just walk in and say, "Hey, I'm here"?
Oh, man, you could. Well, if they walk in, I might not be there. I only work 3 days a week now.
Yeah, you've got it good.
I
huh?
only work 3 days a week. I got it good, and I also got too much going on. So, I think best is like either through email or text message, and you can find my number all over the internet. So,
excellent. Well, very
if you
cool.
want to prank call me or whatever, like, go ahead. I
Send
need some
funny cat videos.
I need some laughter in my life. No, I have things really good right now, but we have to fight for each other. We really do now more than ever.
Very much so, yeah. And it's really exciting to see you taking on so much. I think anyone that has a lot of passion, it's really cool to see someone, and to see someone so busy, and willing to take on more, like you were just talking about, all the other causes that you're starting to dive into,
Right.
Never give up and just kind of keep things rolling.
And thank you for also letting me give, some people that don't have a voice, who can't have a voice, who've been pinned down, letting me give them a voice in this way.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to it and having me on here too.
Glad to have you out. You've got Tiny Fest coming up in September. You got all the shows coming up with Oinga Boinga.
So
like I said, reach out on Instagram. Hey, feel free to email her. She just asked you to.
Yes.
Diving Swallow Tattoo. Any last words for our listeners? Anything you'd like to leave everyone with? A parting word? A pat on the back?
God, I mean, if anybody is going to, email me and ask any questions, I would like to say thank you in advance. And I really want to urge people, to, go past what the media is trying to tell you and realize that we need to fight for each other, whether it be, for Max, or for, the scene in itself, just everybody that you're friends with, that are just in your community, we've got a lot that's trying to pull us down, the city's changing completely. It's my own neighborhood looks completely different than when I moved in, and I've lost a lot of friends, they've all moved away, and I understand why, but I'm going to be fighting on this sinking ship, until it goes down. But yeah, fight for each other, love each other, and keep each other safe.
Right on. I think that's a great message. I thank you again for coming out. Thank all our listeners. Episode 18. This is 80 West signing out. We'll see you guys next time.